Hello.
We can do it! Mountains fall, crack it, rise! Flowers bloom for tomorrow.
Hello.
Memories waiting to be woken up by a shooting star. Remember me with love. May world bearing ignite the dawn.
Acre boss's ass.
May you fulfill love's promise of me.
What, the APOC one?
May rain destruction with
The APOC one is just like dumb. Because like both waves of the Acre boss, like, okay, you kill the minions, then you get to the boss. Then you kill the boss, and then you have to kill the minions and boss again. Like, you're technically dealing with two bosses and two waves of minions in one single floor. Oh, 07 for another HSR leaker? Yeah. They even posted like a warning that like anybody even just like reposting leaks and not actually leaking is also apparently like able to be in danger, which sad news. I might have to be more cautious, unfortunately. I just don't get that. Like, why would reposters get in trouble? Another leaker got caught. Apparently Luna. Luna's quitting. Although Luna was already barely giving anything to begin with at all. They did like a leak every few months, and now apparently they're just like done with it, I guess. Hello, Yuri. Who's left now? I mean, everybody from before except Luna.
I choose you. Soaring above the lands. This is permanent. Flowers.
Nice, Grub Rat.
Memories waiting to be woken up by a shooting star. Remember me with love. May world bearing ignite the dawn. Don't blink.
I mean, I understand going against leaks for like story purposes. That's always been understandable to me. If like you're leaking something story related, which I've never done, like it's more understandable. But going against people who repost leaks of like the strength of characters, character kits, banners, like I'm not gonna lie, looking at leaks is like a huge part for a lot of people of poll planning. Like it lets them see an entire 1 month plus ahead instead of being like surprised by like upcoming banners and shit and upcoming characters. If you post Assad's boss form, it's kind of a story spoiler as well. I didn't post that though. Like, I don't post anything related to story because I know this game doesn't have much to offer outside of that for a lot of people, so I tend to stay away from it. I just don't like, like I don't want to make that boring ass normal gacha content that so many people make of like different challenge accounts. It's so annoying.
The expressive path bridges the stars, as if it were a string of shimmering pearls.
What do you think of the goalpost being moved recently from zero cycling to zero AV? I don't think the goalpost has been moved. You probably saw like one post about it. Zero AVing is legit the most useless fucking thing in the entirety of this game. Respectfully. Like, there's zero cycles being useless because you have 5 cycles, and then there's zero AV being useless. And 99% of the time, if it isn't mono rem, a zero AV clear is done due to like disgusting shilling for a specific team. Like Dot could zero AV APOC a couple patches ago, or like a few patches ago. Saber could zero AV APOC on Phenon's release, which led to a lot of agenda posting that Saber's better than Phenon. Like, zero AVing is literally the dumbest thing possible.
Peaceful days are like breezes carrying the scent of wheat field.
Do you think they're going after leakers because of the collab? No, apparently Luna said why she got targeted, and apparently it was because she leaked the names of Avin and Robin Espy. So, once again, I'm not sure how hard Hoyo's cracking down on this in reposters, because I feel like every time they've gone kind of like all out on leakers, it's been story related stuff. And this is again story related stuff. They're mad that a leaker spoiled Avin SP and Robin SP's names. But I don't know. It's better to be cautious. Is Don Hung Sig really that good? No. The fuck? The only use of Don Hung PT Sig is if you want to use him with Blade. Who cares about names? It's because it leaks stuff. Story related stuff. Once again, like in my opinion, they really shouldn't care all that much, but at the end of the day, it's a greedy ass gotcha company, you know? I love my greedy company. Yeah. Just pull whatever you want. If you have E1 Yao Guang, then like what you shouldn't even really be asking this question, really. Caring about zero AVs for Giga Sweats at Whales? No, genuinely, yeah. It's just stupid. The amount of investment you need for zero AV clears is just too disgusting. Oh, if I should go for Yao Guang plus E1 and an Elation DPS. Didn't you say you have E1 Yao Guang already, though? Should I focus on Elation on my new account, E1 Yao Guang now, and Elation DPS rerun? Oh, the wording was off, my bad. Uh, I mean, once again, it's like, it's literally just up to you, man. Like, genuinely. Like, if you haven't started on any team yet, you can basically invest in any team you want. It's not like Elation is like, at least as of yet, this like omnipotent team from 4.x, you know? Like, it's not like the meta value is really there, at least for what we know currently. So it's like, if you like the characters, if you think they're good enough, then go for them. It's really just that. No, it's okay. It's okay. Even Mr. Pokey's not hiding. He knows of leaks. I mean, everybody knows Mr. Pokey looks at leaks. The guy will drop a vague tweet every once in a while when like something huge drops in leaks, and he'll also be like, "Oh, like every single video about like future predictions that he posts on his like, like YouTube channel, they're all leaks." But he just says, possibly this could happen. Oh, I imagine this could happen. Oh, in my dreams or whatever, you know? Like they just like kind of skirt around it. Yeah. I will say like I'd be surprised if they go after reposters and then they wouldn't go for Pokey. Because, like, I'm pretty sure Pokey's a Hoyo creator, no? Or am I wrong? If he's a Hoyo creator, they have, like, literally all of his info. And there's no way they're so dumb that they don't know that, like, some of the stuff is obviously leaks. Unless it's one of those things where, like, if you never say leaks and you just say, oh, it's streams, you never get attacked for it. Like, if it's one of those things, then who knows? They don't care about gameplay leaks. They care more about story leaks. I think I'm in the same boat. Yeah. It feels like every single time, like for example, even HomDG Cat. I don't think HomDG Cat got really like specifically shut down because of like leaking character kits and stuff. The thing is, HomDG Cat data mines, and so HomDG Cat allows you to see like bosses and story leaks and story info and new items that are belonging to the story. Like they all just show up on HomDG. It's literally everything. It feels like every time they've gone hard on like a leaker slash reposter, it's always been story related. We don't have many HSR CCs nowadays. That's because when it was on the hype trade, everybody left for Wuwa. Like almost all of them, the biggest ones. In these days, I've noticed a trend of a lot more popular HSR CCs slash videos. And I've always talked about this. Like, I feel like HSR has probably the most critical fan base and community of any gacha I've ever played. Like, the majority of popular HSR videos I see these days is criticizing the game. Talk about how it's fallen off, predatory. It's not really like playing the game or talking about meta or talking about like new characters. It's just, oh, how HSR fucking blows at this shit, you know? Challenges are the most popular. They are becoming increasingly popular because meta discussion has basically become completely normalized in the HSR community. So people like, and to be honest, there isn't much else to talk about outside of that. Unless you want to repeat the same 10 talking points about how Jingliu's Nova Flare sucked. Challenge accounts are giga huge now. Oh, the account challenge? Really? How does that... I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Like, I find challenge content and challenge accounts so boring. We still got people complaining about power creep. Uh, I think HSR's power creep is pretty bad. I just think that But the amount of free characters plus pulls this game gives on top of its good verticals, it's a lot easier to keep up with endgame than most people give it credit for. But the power creep in this game is pretty bad. Look at Cthulhu, bro does 60 to 80k per vid. I have heard good things about Cthulhu. That one I'm not surprised about. I remember when he was like way smaller, I got recommended one of his challenge videos. He was legit, I think the only, okay, not the only. There's probably a couple more. He was one of the few people who weren't like absolutely like tourists and putting in no effort into the challenge accounts. Like the guy was actually trying, he was understanding, he was learning. It actually made for good stuff. My experience with like 80% of HSR challenge videos from creators is they are legit like putting in zero fucking effort and just spamming it across every single different like path, every single different element, and it like it's literally it goes nowhere. Like it's called a challenge, but you don't challenge yourself, you know? Oh yeah, Wyatt Sky was one of my favorites back then, for sure. The skip button challenges are much more manageable. Yeah, that's true. Do you think Himiko's gonna get buffed in V3? No. Why would she get buffed? That's a blast from the past. Yeah, he took like a long ass break from playing HSR. Like he was one of the more popular like zero cycle like when it back when it wasn't really all that popular, like early 2.x Pentaconi. He was the one doing a ton of zero cycles with like 4 stars and different characters using Robin. I even remember making a video where I was like hating on how much I hated Robin's meta presence, and it was just going through his videos where every single zero cycle he had was with E1 Robin. But then he took like a long ass break. Her whale investment doesn't compensate for weak teammates. To be fair, Anon already implied multiple times that Himiko is going to get a new teammate somewhere in this version. Like he kept saying she's gonna get a new teammate. It's just not now. I feel like Himiko will be a Phanon. No. Completely different. Phanon doesn't have like a restriction of wanting a specific type of character on his team. While Himiko does. Oh, you guys are thinking of E2, Himiko? I've seen Robin fans mad that she's tied to Rem slop. I mean, in fairness, I think it's like semi understandable. Because Rem is like, let me think. Yeah, Rem is kind of like the most expensive team in the entire game. Because there isn't a single slot that's really all that well replaceable. Only Cyrene with Blade now, but that's Cassie. That's not Evernight. Evernight probably still prefers Cyrene over M-Blade. Yeah, same problem here, really. I already have an E2 Cassie, so unless she's quite literally game breaking to the point where she somehow surpasses an E2 Cassie at E0, I wouldn't really bother. People always bring up, oh, you can like split the teams, but there's only one Hyacine. If we get another like HP scaling sustainer, then I'd split the teams and pull Robin. So it'd be like Evernight main DPS with Robin Cyrene, and then Cassie with RMC Blade, Hyacine. But that remains to be seen. My Day catching strays. In fairness, My Day getting shafted was always obvious. It was the exact same as Aglaya. Even back when I was like a bit of a rookie, in my opinion, like maybe intermediate in understanding Hoyo's tactics, and I like folded for My Day on my old Faye account, I was fully aware that Aglaya and My Day would get 0 shilling in the slightest. It's just so obvious. The E2 My Day incident, yeah. I feel like some kits were bad because they counted on Cyrene saving them at the end of the year. I have held this take for a very long time as well. It definitely feels like multiple characters' base kits were butchered a little bit on purpose so that they could give Cyrene a buff that fixes said issue. But it didn't go as well as they thought it would. For one, in my opinion, they just didn't make Cyrene good enough as a niche Chrysos air support. For second, Ceridra has countless base kit issues. Same goes for Faye. Same goes for Anoxa, to be honest. Like Anoxa, like Anoxa is so reliant on Cyrene for his best performance. It's just not even funny. Like Anoxa at base as a main DPS these days is terrible. Genuinely terrible. There's also I also got mad about this. Like, you as well have you as well have My Day, right? Like, here's the thing. They butchered the way you're supposed to fucking play My Day just to sell Cyrene as his best in slot. Like, he already had almost no gameplay, but at least he wanted to take damage and he could deal out God Slayers, right? So you just want to stack him taking damage, doing that. His Eidolons have value, you heal him. Now, Cyrene can just give him a God Slayer, and the God Slayer that she gives him does double the damage of his normal God Slayers. So his normal God Slayer output barely even matters anymore. And you're just constantly focused on getting Cyrene her stacks instead of actually playing My Day correctly. It's like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy already had barely any gameplay, and then you got rid of the little bit of gameplay he had left. Like, at that point, it's like old Cyrene when it comes to My Day teams. Don't you have more autonomy over My Day now because you can choose when to ult with Cyrene? This only matters in Cyrene Ceridra comps. Which, to begin with, Ceridra isn't all that much of a best in slot for My Day. Like, you can quite easily replace Ceridra with Tribi, and it's actually like neck and neck basically. Like, Ceridra isn't enough of a best in slot to really be taking that into account. Because she's an attack buffer. And you're really only giving My Day a little bit plus duplicate skill every once in a while. And it takes a while to stack. If Ceridra was made in mind with not having attack buffing and just having pure generalist buffs like a Sparkle Nova, then yes, it would be like a lot better for My Day. And this is what I was suggesting ever since her fucking beta. But they decided to like make her this like massive ass attack buffer, so My Day gets like only half the buffs. He got fucked over with Hyacine, and then he got fucked over with Ceridra. Fugue and Ceridra passive abilities masquerading as characters? Yeah, basically. That is basically who Ceridra is closest to. It's just Fugue. The same way people just use Fugue for the exo toughness. People just use Ceridra for the double skill on some characters. The buffing is horrendous. I just like reading chat. I'm not paying attention to my screen. Hot take, but Harmony shouldn't have personal damage. I mean, what Harmonies even have significant personal damage these days? The closest is Tribs, but Tribby doesn't even do that much like damage in comparison to new supports like M-Blade. I mean, Tribby has good buffing and an incredibly strong E1 outside of her personal damage. So she still held value for a long time. Like, even now, one of Asheville M-Blade's best teams is just with E1 Tribby. She did when she released. Yeah, but anybody falling for a Harmony's personal damage when they release are kind of just dumb. No offense. Like, the amount of warnings that I gave to my audience of, like, how stupidly overrated the wheelchair comp would be in a few patches. And they were like, no, it's so strong. This can carry you and everything. Like, yes, it's good at that time because the HP inflation hasn't caught up yet. The second the HP inflation catches up, it's just not as effective anymore. And it's just always going to be that way. Like, you can't wheelchair forever unless you go into some disgusting levels of investment. Yeah, also, like, Ceridra doesn't even have, like, Tribby levels of personal damage. Like, Ceridra does less personal damage than Fugue. Wait, not Fugue. Ting Yun. That's how bad it is. Like, Ceridra's own damage would work if she had afterticks, which she already does, but they scale off of the main DPS's multipliers the same way Don Hung's Dragon works. If they did that, people wouldn't complain anywhere near as much. Can you say that about any comp? Yeah, but DPSs have vertical investment, E1 or E2, that can make them twice as strong, while supports do not have this avenue. Like, if you want to play Hyacine main DPS, it's basically all the way to her E6. You can play it earlier, but all those Eidolons are just way, way weaker than her E6. And it's, like, better to get certain other characters on the team. That's why. Like, yeah, you can generalize everything, but there's a big difference. Like, for example, Phanon. Phanon is about to be 1 year old, and he's still getting E2 clears with free-to-play supports. Not even his best-in-slot Chrysos Air ones, if he just gets his E2. Meanwhile, if you were to look at Tribby plus Hyacine wheelchair back then, and then rely on that these days, you'd need significantly more investment to attain 0 cycles. Find it baffling people are considering E6 Robin because of Koki with Golden Spirits. I hope nobody ever considers getting E6 Robin unless they're at E5 or something. E2 would be the most reasonable stopping point for Robin. Even E2 is like skeptical. It's definitely E1. E2 for certain comps could be a difference maker, but generally it usually doesn't make that big of a difference. Yeah, like Robin's additional damage just doesn't really matter that much in this day and age. Like, for example, an M Blade follow up will do vastly more than Robin additional damage. Not even including his ultimate, which is a fucking nuke, depending on how many enemies there are. Robin's additional damage has just long gone been power crept. There's also, if I remember correctly, like a limit on how many times her additional damage can tick as well. Just get M-Blade or Triby and you'll have a better support than E6 Robin. You aren't wrong, actually. I'm pretty sure M-Blade is stronger than E6 Robin, even at E0. Where's Robin's Eidolons? Maybe she had a good E4 and I don't remember it? Nope. Yeah. E0 M-Blade is better than E6 Rob. What do you think about Cypher? Is she a bad pull now? Cypher has always been a bad pull. I've been saying this shit since literally her release. But she was getting glazed to the heavens because you could use her true damage thing to nuke bosses on their second phase if they have damage reduction. Cypher has always been mid. And now it's even worse because there's way stronger generalists than her. Before, in like V3, it was at least like decently even in terms of peak amp for nihilities. Now it's just like M-Blade, and everybody else is living in his world. Welt as well. Cypher's one of the worst 5 stars in the game, 100%. She's one of the hottest as well, though. So, like, I understand the fold. But yeah, her kit was just, like, doomed, I'm not gonna lie. Like, to be honest, her light cone is more meta than her herself. Chao Q situation, yeah. It's just like, no offense to Hoyo devs, but this is just what happens anytime you make an Acheron teammate. Like, if you make an Acheron teammate and it's half-assed like Zhao Q and Cypher, that is what happens eventually. At least they learned their lesson with Blade. It only took 2 failures. Third time's the charm. Ide said on one of his videos, E0S1 Cypher has close to 91%. Yes, but that's normal. E0 Welt with Cypher's Lycone has the same amp as well. Silverwolf, I'm pretty sure, has similar amp as well. M-Blade beats that amp without an amping Lycone, I'm pretty sure. And with an amping Lycone, it's even more. And then her damage is non-existent, unlike M-Blade, where M-Blade does more damage and Welt is able to inflict slow on enemies over and over again, which makes sustainability a lot more viable. Blade also has the better first 2 Eidolons as well. If her amp is good, why does nobody want her? Her vertical investment isn't worth it outside of her light code, and she doesn't really do anything outside of just amping. Like, M-Blade has personal damage, taunt to help the team's sustainability. Like, he has 2 best in slot teams with follow up, and he's a massive buff for Acheron. It's not even close. Unlike Cypher, who was only like marginally better than Zhao Q. Meanwhile, Cypher, like, she just doesn't have any of this. She's just a buffer, kinda. And then she dishes out damage every once in a while. But her damage is basically a technical buff, because it's taking a percentage of damage done. Cypher doesn't synergize with anybody in the game. To be fair, I always thought that Cypher was made with Archer slightly in mind. Even before we ever got her beta, I automatically assumed that she'd be an Archer partner. And to be honest, she kinda was. Silverwolf, after Nova, was better in certain, like, pure single target situations, because she'd never have to refresh anything. But Cypher was usually the go-to for Archer. Tribby has been used more. It just depends on how many enemies there are on field. If there's a lot of enemies on field and Tribby can trigger DDD multiple times because of that, then people usually use Tribby because of personal damage plus DDD. But with fewer targets, it ends up being Silver Wolf or Cypher slash Silver Wolf. Can't imagine M-Blade upgrade in 5.x. I mean, everybody said this about Tribby. And everybody was like, oh my god, they're about to butcher M-Blade in fucking, like, V3. There's no way these buffs go live, and they just go live. It's just the natural progression of power creep. The 5.x Generalist will definitely be noticeably stronger than Blade. Yeah. I use Tribby with Windset. It's crazy. To be fair, I think Tribby Windset was always better. It's just that when she first released, her personal damage could at least contribute to something. So people were like, oh, farm the personal damage HP set instead of the wind set. At the time, it made sense. But these days, with the HP inflation, her damage doesn't really matter that much anymore. They ended up power creeping Cypher with Sparkle, Nova Flare, and Rin for Archer team. I mean, yeah. That's just how it goes. Non-main pushes just don't really have it all that easy. That's why, like, respectfully, don't take anyone seriously who genuinely believes that Silver Wolf is going to be weaker than Evanescia by the end of this entire version. Like, this is why I find it so stupid, and people are like, "Oh, you hate Evanescia or you hate this character." It's like it's just so simple. If you aren't a main push, you are not going to get shielded as much as the main push, and you're not gonna be as strong. There's nothing you can do about it. Sunday's losing more teams. It doesn't matter. He's gonna get Nova'd. Nobody ever thought that Sunday was gonna stay in Asheville teams. Who are the current and upcoming main pushes? Silverwolf, Himiko Nova, and Nihilux. I'm assuming Pearl is going to be tailored for Silverwolf, 100%. When you think about it, Pearl is supposedly supposed to release in 4.6, which is 4 patches after Silverwolf. That's when Cassie got Evernight. Bro. Okay, okay. I hate reading questions like this so much. Yes, you can skip a DPS. It's not going to brick your account. Like, it's so over exaggerative. It doesn't matter if you skip a DPS. Your account isn't going to be bricked. And you shouldn't be asking questions like this in a character's V1 either. I've been using an Noxa Archer on my free-to-play account for like a year at this point. Clearing just fine. What if I skip every main push? You can still clear. It just doesn't matter. Yeah. You could have an Ashe M-Blade team. Use it with free Gilga since Gilga's actually decent on that team right now. And then you could have an Evanesia plus Yao Guang team with Huohuo from the Golden Token and EMC. Those two teams would be enough to clear endgame content and neither are main push. You know? Like, it's pretty easy. You should be skipping more DPSs and supports. I mean, yeah, that's just a given. Because DPSs are the types of character that get released the most in this game. If you're genuinely trying to like constantly pull every new DPS, you're just fucking yourself over. Unless you have luck on your side. If you don't pull Dill, your account is brick. True. Real and true. Can't see how they power creep Jingle to you. It's actually crazy, like a blast from the past. I remember being there at the beginning of Penacony, and posts like that were being made. And I was seeing them in real time. Because it was, I think Acheron's beta was coming up. And everybody was assuming Acheron would be the power creep. And everybody was like, oh, I don't see how they could power creep Jingliu or Dill. If they power creep these two, the game is done for. Like, there's no way they can do that. Crazy how times change. Even like 4-star Ting Yun was considered like a near must pull if she was on gacha banners back then because there wasn't enough supports. What games did you play before gacha? Basically just any shooting game. Fortnite, COD, Valorant. Actually no, I started playing Valorant very recently. That's not true. Just a bunch of shooting games. I don't think so. Raid. Do you think they'll ever release a 5-star DDD? No, because it would break the game. If you make a 5-star version of DDD, you obviously need to make it stronger, which is just stupid. Like, for example, imagine you get S5 of this Harmony Lycone that's supposed to be a DDD upgrade, and at S5 it gives, let's say, 48% team-wide action advance. That is a team-wide sparkle AA. You know? On a light code that you can put on any Harmony unit. And it happens every single time you ult. Oh, that's cool, Raid. Yeah, like, also, you'd end up in probably a bunch of shenanigans with the break team. Since Firefly can replace Fugue with E2 Branya, you can have, let's say, Branya use the premium DDD and then HMC use another version of DDD. And then the DDD spam would be a bit disgusting. That's kind of the only issue with it. I don't know when drip is. E2 Fugue? E2 Fugue is such a bait, man. In my opinion, it's just like better to invest into Dahlia and Firefly if you have a break team. E2 Fugue I only see being useful if you are using a non-Firefly team. But that's like, realistically, probably 2% of active break mains are non-Firefly players, so I don't really consider them. That would make no sense, Grub Rat. Like, that would make no sense. It wouldn't be any different. Actually, it'd be weaker because it has a way lower baseline than the 4-star version. I meant with other stats. I mean, I guess. It just depends on the stats. You get a bunch of, like, for example, M-Blade's light cone barely matters, but it has a bunch of different stats on it. Even if you added, like, 8% AA on M-Blade's light cone, it'd still be shit. And Blade is able to get ult, like, decently fast. Because his follow-up's just... I mean, they get so much energy for him. Is it a must for Himiko Nova to have Welt on the team? No, I don't think so. Apparently, Himiko was the only one to get changes in V2. So now, like, her Sunday teams aren't falling behind too much, which is nice. But yeah, it is, like... The thing is, like, she wants Astral Express members. The strongest Astral Express buffer as well. You know? Even outside of the decimation stuff. It kind of just is like that. I mean, if you have E6 Cassie, I don't really think you have to worry about her getting replaced. Since 4.5 doesn't have any AA teammates, I don't know what her after sale looks like. I think Sunday Nova is 100. I think he's staying in the team. I think when Sunday gets Nova, that's like permanent. So it's either Welt gets replaced or the Sustain gets replaced. But to be fair, I do believe that Anon said that Welt would get replaced. Like, it was Anon's belief. So my guess is Himiko, Sunday Nova, new best in slot, third slot support, whoever it is, and then probably like Donhung PT. Or you just get her E2 and run any sustain you want. Do you think Argentinova will be budget Saber for Gilga? No. Argentinova is probably for the Herda. The first leak from last year was Himiko's best in slot team at All Mature Woman. My friend, last year. And that didn't even come from Anon. That came from a more unreliable source, if I remember correctly. I see Robin replacing Cyrene more than Cassie. No. No. Evernight main DPS is already stronger than Cassie Monorem. Cyrene has... Cyrene is the character with the most synergy with Evernight in that entire team. And then if Robin is truly an RMC replacement, the one that goes is RMC. Like, Cassie is the only one in the team that doesn't provide anything for the team. It's just her doing damage and taking advantage of her teammates. She's the most replaceable. I'm cooked. I mean, you can keep running normal Cassie Mono Rem. It's just that it's likely that Evernight main DPS is going to be stronger. I mean, to be honest, already is stronger and more versatile without as many restrictions. But add on Robin, that should have more synergy with Evernight possibly. And yeah. If you replace Evernight for Robin and Cassie team, bro, what do you guys not understand? An action advancer, if Robin is an RMC replacement, yes, it could also work for Cassie, but the new strongest mono rem team is Evernight. Evernight is the one that values action advance the most, way more than Cassie. That's why RMC is so important for her. Yes, you may be able to use her with Cassie, but it's just not the best team. Evernight main DPS is going to be stronger, and Mono Rem won't use Cassie anymore, unless you want to. That's just how it's going to go. Like, yes, you can do this and that. It's going to be weaker, though. So she can get stronger with generalist supports. Who, Evernight? Uh, if they are generalist buffing action advancers, and they happen to be Rem to synergize well with Cyrene, yeah. Evernight main DPS is only stronger in low cost. At higher cost, Cassie Monorem is better. Riddle me this, Batman. Why is it that Evernight main DPS is weaker at higher costs than Cassie Monorem? Could it be because Cassie Monorem is consisted of all 5 stars, while Evernight main DPS has RMC, who can't get any Eidolons? I wonder why Cassie Monorem is stronger at 12 plus cost. So what happens when you replace RMC with an upgrade RMC who has Eidolon investment? Right? Castra is still worth it for the global passive. I promise you she isn't. I haven't seen the global passive on my Cassie account activate in almost a year. And I wish I was trolling. It's been like a year since I last saw that passive activate. Unless you are like someone who purposely goes for sustainless zero cycles for whatever reason and you keep having to retry, it's just not that great. At what point of cost does Cassie Monorem overtake Evernight? Basically whale investment. It's like around the 10 mark, 10 plus, 10 cost. That's like as many 5 stars as the average free-to-play player will get in an entire year. And if they're unlucky, they won't even get that much. And that's assuming they've milked every pull possible from every patch without a break. But once again, even this, like the only reason Cassie is able to overtake is because Evernight is stuck with RMC, who has no Eidolon investment, has no Light Cone investment, while Cassie has a full limited 5-star team. So if Robin is an RMC upgrade, and she has a stronger base kit, plus now you have Eidolons and Light Cone to invest into, the story completely changes. It's now going to be like, I don't know, like 16 plus cost maybe? I'll just throw a guess for Cassie Monorem to maybe catch up, which is just disgusting. That's like Leviathan levels. That's not even whale. That's like full E2 S1 Monorem. You know? Bye, Gabby and everyone. Goodbye. Thanks for stopping by. Even if she's stronger than Cassie, will she sell solely for E9 main DPS? Yes. Like bro, E9 is like Evernight March is popular. This is legit one of the most popular characters in the entirety of the game. Yeah, Cassie had more sales because she is the anti-main push, but March is still incredibly popular. You watch the Soccer World Cup? No, not really. The way you've been talking about it, it's like you've been praying for her to get replaced. Dude, I have an E2 S1 Cassie. I spent a year and hundreds of dollars so that I could get E2 S1 Cassie in her entire team. It's the only account I've spent that much money on. I don't hate Cassie. I'm just not going to lie and say that Cassie is still going to be best in slot. It's just obvious. Here's why I don't matter and why I'm not pulling Robin. I have Cassie at E2. Cassie's going to get Nova Flared in probably a year or half a year from now. And when she gets Nova Flared, she's then going to take the spot back in this Mono Rem team, pulling Robin useless unless you're just trying to split the teams. So I'm not even pulling Robin on my Mono Rem account because there's no point. I already have an E2 Cassie. I'm not throwing an E2 Cassie out. Dragon is cool as shit. Robin doesn't have a dragon as far as I'm aware. Do you think Robin will save old Rem characters? No. Isn't that just eggy? No. I mean, maybe. Maybe like a Nova Sunday plus Robin if she's an RMC upgrade type of thing going on. With Aglaya? Maybe. It sucks knowing your fave is dragging a team down. I mean, respectfully, you just shouldn't give a shit. Like, for example, on this account that I pulled Ashvale and Emblade on, there's a decent chance I don't pull Avon for quite a while because I find Gilgamesh cooler. So I'm just going to run the Ash Emblade Gilgamesh wheelchair. I'm fully aware Avon is going to be way fucking stronger, but I'm still going to play with Gilga because I like him more. I think we will fold for Robin at some point. I already said if they make a second Hyacine for the Evernight team or a second like max HP sustainer or whatever, just a good sustain for like Evernight that isn't like fucking Don Hung PT or Huo, then I would split the teams and I'd pull Robin. So it would be Evernight, Robin, Cyrene, this new sustain, and then Cassie, Emblade, RMC, Hyacine. But you know, that's like nobody knows what the sustains are going to be in this version outside of the likely elation one for Silverwolf. There's a good chance Robin will be best utilized for a future team. Probably not. I'm not going to lie, no. I'm pretty doubtful of that. The leaker said we were only getting one Remembrance character in this entire version. So, her being the Rem character means there's no Rem characters coming anymore. You think RMC is better than Tribby in that team you just said? I don't know. I get what you're saying because of M-Blade personal damage and Hyacines as well. So it's like might be better to have a team buffer, but I don't know. I haven't looked into many showcases of the Cassie M-Blade team to begin with. They don't have to be Rem characters. The leakers already said that Robin is targeted towards the Rem team. And it's not just one, it's been multiple at this point, including Anon. So, I mean, you can say, like, oh, this might happen, but it's just so unlikely. Especially since she's already been leaked to be HP scaling and RMC upgrade. You know? Like, no offense, there isn't a single more synergistic team with that type of character than Mono Rem. My problem with RMC is I have E2 cat. Oh yeah, I forgot that problem existed. My bad. It's been like I've been so focused on this account and like the other accounts I forgot that was even a thing. To be honest, it would have been nice if they made Cassie's like ult action advance at E2 an extra turn. And oh yeah. Ooh. Oh, I already see the E2 Cassie Nova. I already see it. If they make her E2 an extra turn after ult instead of an action advance, you save so much ult charge. Oh my god. And you save the buffs. Please. Please do this. I will be waiting for that E2 change on her Nova Flare in 5.5. E2 extra turn has been overused too much. Who cares about it being overused? It's strong. And it finally gives her a significantly stronger and more synergistic E2. The problem with Cassie a lot these days is like, legit, if you're using her best in slot team and you have her E2, at least in my experience, a lot of the time the E2 action advance is nearly useless. Like, no joke. It's nearly useless. Because you're already at like 80-90% ult charge when she's like 10 AV away. So it doesn't even matter anymore. Or she's like getting her ult 10 AV away, making the E2 extra turn basically useless. And you're mainly just taking advantage of the extra dragon breaths. Alright, chat. It's a bit of a shorter stream, I think. To be honest, I don't know. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you have a great night. I'm gonna go eat something. Peace out.